Well, good evening everyone. I'm SimScott185. You find us on the ground at Dublin Airport, looking to do a short flight over to Edinburgh in the Airbus A320neo tonight on Microsoft Flight Simulator later 2020. We're in the Flybywire mod. Definitely would recommend you getting this if you're looking forward to do any flying on VATSIM, and just the amount of work that's gone into it is amazing, so make sure you grab that and before you set off and do anything. Fairly short flight tonight. Thought that it would be useful just to do a shorter flight so you can see everything in action, and we'll kick off. As always, look, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and make sure you join us for future flights. It'd be great to see you guys along. So I've got the checklist open here. We're just going to run through that before we talk to air traffic control. I think we've got sort of Dublin control on, Scottish control on, so hopefully we'll have full air traffic control over to Scotland this evening. So let's get the cabin set up. So use a checklist, that's what I do, keeps things a bit simple. So we turn on the master batteries, get some external power in, and we just turn on some lights just to make sure we can actually see what we're doing. Let's get these panel lights on. They're the black knobs just sitting below here. You can put lights up. One thing that you might want to do just to kick off, because it takes a wee while, is just get these the navs for the IRs. I think there are probably a better order to put them on, but I do it that way just to make sure that they kick off, because you'll see over here it says they'll take 7 minutes to align, so if you're in a bit of a hurry, it's probably more efficient to do that. Look, what I'll talk you through tonight, guys, is just how I fly in VATSIM. So I'm not a professional pilot in the sense of commercial. I fly general aviation, but it only gives you sort of more a sense of how airplanes fly. Helps me with my radio calls to the guys on VATSIM, and I feel a bit more comfortable about that side of things. But hopefully useful just to sort of follow through this. So we've turned on the batteries. You can jump around again with views. I have a joystick, the Airbus Thrustmaster, lets me move between different things. That probably makes everyone dizzy. But let's get up to this top panel. So we want to get the APU on. Give it a few seconds before you start, and it starts. Probe window comes on, an APU bleed, which is the APU bleed in here, and that's pretty much it for this top panel. While you're here, you can turn off turn on the fuel pumps. In the Airbus, if something's white, it means it's off. So if it's saying off and you click on it, that means it comes on, and that's how they have set it up. And so we've done the ADRs. That was the nav that we talked about further up here. No smoking sign. Let's just turn that on. Don't want anyone killing themselves on our flight. Seatbelt sign comes on, and we arm the emergency exits. Let's just get down into the flight computer. Here we are. If you watched any of my other videos before, you'll see there's a really quick way to set this up based on the way that SimBrief integrates into this, and that there's lots of videos online. Again, happy to make one if people are keen to have a look at that. But click the init button, init request. I've already done the SimBrief flight plan. You'll see it's been brought in, so from Dublin to Edinburgh. We've got the alternative, which looks like Cardiff. We've got our flight number, cost index comes in, going up to flight level 250, and that's all been pre-populated for us, which is brilliant. We can go over, actually, let's not do the init second page at the moment. If we go into MCDU menu, go into not 8, that's the wrong one. If we go to ATSU, AOC menu, performance, weight and balance. What we can do is, you'll see the weight of the aircraft down here. This takes the fuel from SimBrief and adds it in automatically. Next page, again, put the payload in, and you'll see that we're now at 65,000, and we've got the number of passengers as 171, which is great, and we're all loaded up from that perspective. Go back to the init pages, next page, click on zero fuel weight, it will chuck that in for you automatically. Fuel planning, click on that and confirm. It will then update all your trip times, etc. with that, which is really handy. And it saves you a bit of time. If you've flown in X-Plane 11, seen some of my videos there, you will have seen that it's a bit more complicated. You have to do things a lot more by hand in that aircraft. It's a bit more study level, I think is what they would call it. But great as well to learn, and again, I'll put more videos on that, maybe of shorter flights, just because it's a bit simpler for you guys to follow and run through those. So we've done that side of things. Let's go to performance. We take off with one flat, so that populates in here, and again, you just click these buttons. That's great. Populates your V1, VR and V2 speed. Transition altitude we can get from the ATIS, that's 7,000. That's on the VATSIM. Ooh, that's 70,000, pretty punchy. I've just taken that from the VPilot program which you can get the ATIS from. Tonight, just reading out some other things. We're on runway 28 left. We'll talk through this on Navigraph. Visibility 10 kilometers or more, few clouds at 800 feet. That might not be what the sim shows us. The Weather and Flight Simulator 2020 is taken from different data points. So we'll have a little look, see if that works. QNH is showing as 983, which we've got in here. If you want a really quick way and you don't know what the QNH is, if I just move this up backward, if you hit the B key, it automatically puts it in, which is great again in terms of just saving us a bit of time. If I show you the route that we are going to be taking today, let's bring up Navigraph. So we're parked on stand 318 on Pier 3 here. We're expecting 28 as the runway, which is down here, so we'll taxi, I suspect, by November Juliet link to Foxtrot 1 down to Link 1 and Echo 1. If we have a little look at our route, which again I brought in from SimBrief. If people are unsure how to do that, it's pretty simple. You just click this flights button up here and new flight, and then it comes in that way, which is great in terms of sort of just again giving you a route to follow. Departure, if I just show on the overlay here, it's Dublin. What are we going on? It's the ROTEV 1 Alpha. Altitude 28 left, we get to the well, we have to fly over greater than 3,000 feet when we get over the Dublin Indy B. Take a right turn on Pickham 026 up to ROTEV. Then we'll be heading across the Irish Sea. And Navigraph seems to be a bit slow today, but hopefully that's not causing too many difficulties for you guys. We'll do it windowed this way. So we'll come in via TUNSO, go to Tala. Something quirky about the Flybywire model is that it has tartan in it, but it doesn't pick it up when we do the arrival. So there's two ways to look at this. We can either talk to air traffic control and ask them to vector us to there. They may start vectoring us before then, so it's kind of, we'll see what happens when we get down to Tala. It's a bit of a strange thing that comes in via the mod at the moment. Don't be afraid to ask air traffic control for instructions if you're unsure. The other way that we could do it is tune in the Tala VOR and then set a course from it of 031, and that would take us for 15 DME or 15 miles, I think similar things, and that'll take us to Tartan. If we were to hold, it would get a bit more complex. We might want to just ask the controller about when we'd start our hold and then move from there. Again, there's some judgment involved in that. So that's our route. I will just take this off the screen for you guys so you've not got it blocking you, and we will start to get underway. Okay, so we've got all the setups needed that we need in the flight computer. Calculator our takeoff distance, put the flight directors on. You note we're in a slightly different time period to the actual real world, because I didn't want it to be pitch black for you guys. As you can see out here, you can hear the APU spooling up there. Let me know if that's too loud or if it's okay and acceptable. So again, I will just flick through these. Everything is dashed. We'll get an initial clearance in terms of height from air traffic control on the actual SID itself, which is great because it just saves us a bit looking at the we'll cross check it against the actual SID chart. And we've got the pedestal down here. What am I looking for here is usually the weather system and the predicted wind shear, which you can find down here. So let's just turn on some lights and make it a bit brighter. So if you want to turn the weather radar on, flip that over to the left to 1, and you click this button here to set predictive wind shear. Okay, this is our sort of pre-startup, so let's get our clearance. So I'm going to tune via the vPilot mod. vPilot.
Stuart 185, you got the ground up service if there's no delivery ground tower online. So. Ryanair 8 Golf, right turn on Sierra, left turn Whiskey 1, expect further Whiskey 1.
Right turn Sierra, then Whiskey, repeat the rest of that.
Right turn Sierra, left turn Whiskey 1, expect further Whiskey 1.
Right turn Whiskey, then left Whiskey 1, expect further Whiskey 1, run Eagle.
Stuart 185, you're cleared to Edinburgh via ROTEV 1 Alpha departure, 28 left, squawk 6611. All correct information is India, QNH 983, report ready. Atlas 497, leave control airspace, radar control service terminates, unicom 128, I'm going to contrast, good day. And Ryanair 8 Golf, Whiskey 1, cross 1634, Hotel 1, stand 124.
Hotel 1, cross 1634, and stand 124.
Speedbird 185, please.
Yep, Speedbird 185.
185, I'd have to step away for a few minutes, so if you are ready for push and start in the meantime, make push and start, and otherwise I'm fine.
Thanks, we'll go ahead with that, and we'll wait for you to come back. Cheers, Speedbird 185. 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to
check. 155, push start, please. At 155, just in case I'm not back in a few minutes, you can go ahead and taxi to Echo 1 for 2A left. There's no about traffic in it.
Excellent. Once we're ready, if you're not back, Bravo 1 Echo 1, and we'll hold you up there for you.
Let's go, guys. I was just checking some sound levels. I'm just going to go into my settings here and just turn the sound down a little bit for the. Let's just do a bit on the master. See how that does. Just noticed it's quite loud on the stream, so it's still quite loud. Let's turn the engines down a little bit. I suspect this happens when we restart it, but let's see. We'll go with that. If not, we'll just stay mostly in the cockpit. Yeah, it's still pretty loud. Okay, so he's basically ran away, and it's given us clearance that we can push and start, which doesn't normally happen, but helps us get underway pretty quickly. So in terms of pushing back, let's just make sure external power comes off, beacon light on. Should put some nav lights on as well. Thrust levers should be at idle, and they are. You can see them there in the gate. So what we'll do is we will just make sure that we've got the right. That's flaps. I always get confused on my joystick which is which. So we turn the parking brake off, and then what we can do is request pushback, and this should come from our chap outside. See if we can get a view. Yeah. I think just spitting into position at the moment. Start to go back soon. Just had a look at the charts, guys. The initial climb is to 9,000 feet, so we'll just put that in, make sure it's all set up. So off we go, and we can start the engines now. So let's flip start over, start engine 2. and it's slowly coming online. You can see that there. You can see in this we have to sort of steer it ourselves, which is a bit of a pain in Flight Simulator, but let's swing it around to the right. Pushback helper really helps with this, guys, so if you're unsure, then do use it. Give you a bit more of a view. We can straighten up again. And that'll do from a pushback perspective. Always important, you'll see we're sort of creeping forward. You know, if we put the parking brake on, that stops that. It's not particularly well lined up, but we will take it. So we're starting the second engine now. So you can hear that engine kicking in now. Which is great. We're sort of parked off at an angle, but that doesn't really matter. We've talked about the taxi, but if I show you again what I am expecting, let's just, before we do that, let's go through things logically. So, engine mode selector, we will turn to norm, which is down here, this white switch here. Let's just click that one to the left. APU bead comes, that bleed comes off, that button there. Ground spoilers with arm. Pull it up with your mouse. And flaps into the takeoff position. So down one. Which is our takeoff position 1. And you can see that's also enunciated here on the screen, which is beautiful. Don't need any engine anti-ice at the moment. We'll turn the
Thanks for being John, good night.
and turn on our taxi light. One-way turn off can come on as well. And strobe. Auto brakes need to be max, which are down here. You see there's 3 options. If you go over to the far right, click on max. Very simple. We've got the flight directors on. Weather radar we've put on as well. Yeah, we're pretty much ready to taxi out, which is great. And yeah, this is sort of after takeoff and sort of where we get to, so we'll leave that as it is. In terms of taxi, we briefed it before, guys, but let me just show you where we're going. So here we are. We're at stand 309. We're sort of facing this way. We should go November Juliet. I think they'll go out to link to Foxtrot 1 and down to Echo 1. So we'll see. I'll call while we've got this up so you guys can see as well. And Dublin Control, Speedbird 185 is ready for taxi when you're ready. And he may be away still, so we'll wait. While you're here, guys, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button. Helps the channel, helps us get.
Channel stations, Dublin 5.
And he's back, so we'll give him a call. Welcome back, Dublin. Speedbird 185 is ready for taxi.
Speedbird 185 taxi, link to Fox 1, hold Fox 1.
Link to Fox 1 and just confirm the whole point for Speedbird 185.
Just hold at Fox 1.
Okay, we'll hold at Fox 1, Speedbird 185. So we're going out link 2, and Fox 1 is sort of this random little place here. I wonder if we can see the airport. Yeah, you can see it on there as well. So let's get our pink little man. Can we see him? There we are. So we're going to go.
Starbird 3212 Dublin, giving clear to the other man. It'll be 28 left for departure with a right turn out to Boyne. Initial altitude will be 4,000. Your squawk 68. Correction. Your squawk will be 66.
Let's start, and we'll pull the parking brake so we can move. Always a help, isn't it? So we're heading out straight this way.
Starbird 3212, all correct information. Juliet current connection checks 983 hectopascals forward.
So we're just cruising out on the ground here. It's great, the mod that we have here. Oh.
And Speedbird 185, you can taxi link 2, Fox 1, Echo 1, line up 28 left, report ready for departure.
Link 2, Fox 1, Echo 1 and report ready for departure, Speedbird 185. Okay, let's just slow down because I'm aware I've left Navigraph up so you guys can't see this. There we go. Okay, so he's just cleared us further anyway, you can look on the map. So we're going to go down to Echo 1. So this is link 2. We'll take a left turn. Again, if you want to cheat, guys, which I say cheat, if you want to help, you can see where we're going on this map here. So we're following down here and then down to X1, Echo 1, X1. And he said we can line up as well. So the full show today. Let's just turn some brightness up. Also, if you want to save some frame rates, you can turn these ones off because you don't have a co-pilot, unfortunately. If you did, he'd be very unhappy at the moment for you doing that. So, take a right here. Auto brake is max. We can also, in this, is just hit takeoff configuration. Everything's normal. You see down here. Ask to press this button. You call the cabin, and they report you ready. And an American man asks them if they're ready. Doesn't quite fit with my Scottish channel, but that's fine. All good. So that's on 28 left. So we'll just wait.
Shamrock 155, taxi Bravo 1, Echo 1, hold short 28 left.
Bravo 1, Echo 1, hold short 28 left.
And Speedbird 185 is lined up 28 left, ready for departure.
185, surface wind check, 230 degrees 08 knots. Clear takeoff 28 left.
Clear takeoff 28 left. Okay guys, let's go. Advanced throttles for the photo. We've got Toga showing up in white here. Keep it on the centre line. Let's put a better view. Just hitting V1 there. There's no announcements like you would in a Zeebo, but where we go, bit jerky in terms of there. Boy, should be a bit more gentle. Gear can come up. And we can engage the autopilot now, guys. It should start taking us on a right turn, which it has. It's heading direct to ROTEV, which is basically what we're asking it to do. Move into lever climb. First climb. So we're in the gate here. I wonder if I have put in my arrivals and departures. That's the bit that. So we seem to just swing quite quickly to the right there to go to ROTEV, which isn't technically what we should have done. Let's just check. We've got an arrival in. We didn't do this, guys. This was my fault. We'll do it for here. We know it's going to be that one. We know it is. Let me just.
Stubber 3212, push start approved, QH 9H.
Check that for us.
Speedbird 185, identified on departure, cleared on track ROTEV, climb flight level 230.
Direct ROTEV, flight level 230, Speedbird 185. So he sounded a bit confused, I think probably because
Control, good evening,
we
Ryanair
took a little
205
shortcut
with
there.
you descending
I'll
flight
explain that
level
in a minute, guys.
200 inbound VATSIM.
Under 205, Dublin Control,
Let's
giving
get
you identified
the
handover from
Edinburgh
London,
approach just
Dublin 2 Lima
put in
arrival,
first.
28 left, descend to flight level
So it's
180.
TUNSO 1 Echo.
Dublin 2 Lima, arrival 28 left, descend flight level 180, Ryanair 205.
So that's now in, which is good. That's my fault, guys. So you can see here from Dublin going straight to ROTEV, what I should have done is clicked in, put the SID and selected it. So yeah, try not to make that mistake that I made there. And we're now just climbing up. He gave us a flight level, so we click this down to standard. can de-arm the speed brakes. No. Continue our climb. Bit bumpy and a bit cloudy. Hopefully the picture's good, guys. It might be slightly different. I have an ultra wide, so it looks probably a little bit different on the screen than what you may get on other streams. So I'm looking at different ways to manage that from my perspective. But yeah, we'll see. So that's a ping that's come up. Anti-ice detected. It's very sensitive. If you go up here, that's anti-ice for the engines. That should clear it. Yeah.
Shamrock 155, surface wind 230 degrees right now, clear takeoff.
Just passing through some clouds at the moment.
Clear takeoff to 8 left, Shamrock 155.
Airplane nose tidied up.
Hello, runway full name Unicom descending 100 information Juliet. Sorry, descending 100 flight back, over the back, so Lima.
And severe, so what it's asking is to wing,
so,
and it needs ignition, so
go
to the right, and the wing comes on as well. So, still climbing through, just coming out of the clouds at the moment. It's quite a quick flight this, guys, but it should be good for learning, apart from the initial error that I made. So, if you were doing that on the ground, all you do is click on at the destination, it will have the departure airport on that. If you click on this button here, select your runway that you're departing from, choose your SID, insert it. That'd be ideal. As you can see, I turned right a little bit quickly, which I was quite surprised about, and that's how I picked it up. It wasn't a big deal in the end. If I show you on the map what the impact would have been, that might help explain it, because in some airports that could have been quite dangerous, because I would have conflicted with some other traffic. So if I show you the overlay, this is us on our pink dot, so we're sort of going towards ROTEV. What we should have done is go out and swung to the right, but it's quiet, and I think he recognised that we were going direct there anyway. So we took our right turn very quickly, and something looked different on the flight directors when I took off. It didn't look like it was quite in the right position. We looked like we were going right too quickly. Still, great views tonight on the sim, going through the cloud layers towards Edinburgh. If anyone's got any comments, stick them in the comment box. Really happy to answer anything, either about sort of flying in general aviation or flying in VATSIM. It's all about just getting your confidence up, guys, because it's a really good way just to, like, we're on lockdown, it's a great way just to spend some time learning a simulator. I really enjoy it. I've been doing it for a number of years. It keeps me sort of fresh when I go into my aircraft, helps me brush up on sort of where we need to, where the so the phraseology comes from, just make sure that I'm up to speed with things as well. I will do some streams flying general aviation, and here maybe doing some VOR tracking, and we'll look at how we do that and sort of minimums and for VFR flying. I'm not IFR qualified, it's very expensive, and I fly for a hobby. I do it basically to put all around the south of England, take friends up, we go and visit places. It's great fun. It's a really good hobby, I'm privileged to do it. So I can't quite get the ATIS for Edinburgh at the moment, which is quite interesting. I'll show you a little something here which you guys probably are aware of if you've watched other streams, but we go into the MCDU menu, or the MCDU as some people would call it, AOC menu. Let's get a weather request. So if you click send for Dublin and Edinburgh, it will have that. So it's now saying ice not detected, so we can change this back to norm, and we can turn off all the anti-ice, which is fine. In that,
People 185 unfortunately Scottish advises he's going offline, so Unicom now 122.8, have a nice flight to Edinburgh.
122.8, thanks for your help, have a good evening, Speedbird 185.
Ryanair 205, descend to flight level 70.
Flight level 70, right.
Alpha traffic safety is CZU, taxiing by Charlie and Delta to Delta within 4.07.
Okay guys, we're back in the cockpit. I think we had a few sound issues there, but I think we are all back, which is good. So just cruising over the east coast of Ireland. And we're just looking to the in. Would have been a bit of a pot. I think there was a bit of a muting of my microphone, so you might not have heard a few things there, which isn't, you know, not the end of the world. You might not have missed anything important. We're just in the cruise. Hopefully the rest of it's been recorded. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to redo this. So, where are we? You can see Blacker is the. If I just turn this off, that's the point where we enter Scotland. Head up north and then over to the right hand side. There is Edinburgh approach on tonight, so they should guide us in hopefully pretty nicely to where we need to get to. It's a fairly quiet evening on VATSIM, which is why I totally recommend you guys, if you want to have a go at doing this, do a route like this. It's short, it is quite intense, there's a lot of thinking to do. God, look at the icing on that airplane. That's not what it's like in real life at all. But yeah, look, it's great fun. It's a short little flight. You can test it. Edinburgh's normally pretty quiet. Sometimes it gets involved in the midweek madness, or they'll do other things where you go from Edinburgh to different airports. It's a single runway, so it's not and it's not that busy. It's not like Gatwick where there's a lot of holding sometimes if it's a busy event. Check it out. It doesn't always have air traffic control. Might just have some it might just have some yeah, just sorry, just checking something, guys. Yeah, we're all good. Yeah, it doesn't always have air traffic control, but it'll have a tower, and it will usually have ground on it, so it's a safe place to practice. Jump up, do some circuits, enjoy yourself. It's a simulator. Let's just check. I'm on something called VATSPy, and it's just checking what the arrivals look like into Edinburgh and where we sequence in. So we're due to get in about 8:54. The next one is probably 10 minutes after us. So yeah, not too bad. We are ploughing through some clouds, aren't we, guys? Could go a little bit higher, I suppose, but we're going to have to descend at some point anyway. How do we descend in the Airbus A320? Gosh, if everyone had the answer to that. It's a magic question. There's a bit of judgment involved. Normally I look about 80 miles out, and I do that on the screen down here, and just start slowly descending around about 1800 to 2000 feet a minute, and then you sort of use a bit of judgment from there, and that's usually if I'm at sort of cruising levels of 32,000, etc. It's probably not right to start descending it now. And if I have a look at the charts, just in terms of briefing the approach, let me show you this so you get an idea of sort of what I look at. So here's the chart again. You can see at TUNSO we need to be flight level 170, and at Tala 250 knots, Tartan 230 knots on flight level 70. So we want to get down to 170 for TUNSO. So I just have a little look. TUNSO's coming up actually, so we should start descending. Let's go to flight level 170, and we'll just do a vertical speed. So let's just get down. So what I did there, to descend, take the alt, pull down, using the arrow, you see it pops out, and then vertical speed, pull down there, and you can tell that because it's got vertical speed sitting here. I imagine it looks a bit squished on some people's screens, but it is what it is. Trying to use a widescreen to stream is pretty difficult, it turns out, but we'll get there. I'm just trying different things, and hopefully this is helpful to people. I'm going to tune to Edinburgh Approach.
Ryanair 118, speed 160 knots, maintain to 4 DME.
Speed 160 knots, maintain to 4 DME, Ryanair 118.
Ryanair 2 Delta Papa, speed 180 knots.
Speed 180 knots, Ryanair 2 Delta Papa.
Ryanair 118, contact tower 118.7.
Contacting tower 118.7, Ryanair 118, bye-bye.
Speedbird 185 row. I'm looking for you and I can't actually see you, which means you're probably quite far away, so for now, oh no, there you are, so I'll be close by the time you get to me, so you can monitor unicom for now, 122.8. B2, break, Ryanair 2 Delta Papa, turn right, heading 330.
So he's closing. So we'll just make our own way in, which is fine. We'll go to Tala. We'll track what the autopilot is. So it's going to go to Tala and it's going to take a left turn into runway 06, which is fine. So we'll probably be contacting Tower as the next person on our merry journey. So you can see that we're just on the edge of his scope there. Tell you, some of these clouds are pretty awesome in terms of how they look. A little bit fuzzy though, and like it's a bit grainy. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it's a little bit grainy on. And I think they're looking to fix that up for us. So, what we'll do, we know we need to be flight level 70 by Tartan, but we're not going there. So we'll just start a really slow descent, guys, into Tala. I think we'll go down there, but let's pull out and then down. Let's just do, I don't know, 900 feet. As I say, there's a bit of guesswork involved in this. And as I say, guys, hopefully it's useful. Any questions, as I say, put them in the chat. Totally happy to answer things. I think it's the only way that you really learn from doing these things, is if you ask questions. I'm new to streaming. I love the channel to pick up some followers and see what they think of what I'm doing. So that'd be amazing if we can get some more people chatting as we go along. Also do some iRacing. I don't know if we have many racers who will follow this, but got into that sort of in lockdown. Really enjoy it, and yeah, we'll start streaming that going forward and seeing what we can do there. Don't really want to crash into people. Let's just slow this descent right down, because you can see that we've got a wee bit to go. sort of going, I don't know, 40 miles or so, and not far to go. Only got 10,000 feet to lose. These clouds look vicious, don't they? Ooh, I'm not sure in the real world we'd be piling straight into these, but you know, it's all good fun. Let's just check again on VATSIM that there's no one really near us. I don't think there is. There's a couple of departures out of Edinburgh. There's no one sort of going to conflict with us as we come in, which is great. So, if anyone watched one of my last videos, I absolutely stuffed up the landing into Gatwick in the fly-by-wire. I blame the speeds. I don't think it was the speeds, guys. I think it was me. But hopefully it's yeah, hopefully it's not going to be too embarrassing this time. But I haven't practiced in it. I was in the Zeeble, so anything could happen. Just increase our descent rate. We weren't really going down. We're just cruising along. And into anti-ice again, so let's put the engine on, wait for it to bing again when it says that the wing's about to fall off due to ice, and well, hopefully it won't be too bad. Okay, so just still descending down, just increase it slightly. You can see that the autopilot has also managed our speed for, we're now doing 250, so you'll notice throughout this whole flight I haven't touched speed or heading at the moment. I will do as we get nearer, maybe not heading actually, but speed certainly, just to make sure that we're slowing down at the right levels. If you're not slowing down, remember you have speed brake, so you just pull that backwards and forwards, and that was armed. That's a really useful thing if you want to lose speed and you're struggling to while you descend. There's also a chat bot that I've added to this stream, which if you put an exclamation mark and then type Nightbot, it should give you some commands, I think. If it doesn't, I need to work on it. Okay, so we're slowly coming down again. Just increase that rate of descent now to make sure that we're going to hit our targets. It's still on standard because we're going down to a flight level, and then we'll click the up button, that will convert us into the local pressure. You can see, because I'm increasing the vertical speed, the plane is accelerating. Makes sense, we're going down into a bit of a controlled descent, but as it goes down it will gather momentum and it will gather speed. Severe ice again. Scotland. Okay, so we flick this over to the right again. Ignition. And it's also asking for the wing. So you've seen that I've done that. The blue warnings go away. And the engine ice has come on. I'm just typing on unicom to make sure people understand where we are in terms of that. Turn the master caution off. So we're about to break through 10,000 feet. Just have to watch that. You could descend quickly here, but we are in Scotland. There's high ground around us. You don't want to plough into the side of a mountain. That would be very antisocial. looks fiery outside, doesn't it? I think that effect is rain on the windscreen. Unless my graphics card is gone really, really wrong. Fingers crossed it's right. I've seen it on other streams. Can't just be me. But yeah, I'm just talking about this side of things. So, like, we're passing 8,000. We'll meet our restraint of flight level 70 pretty easily. You can see we're doing 260 knots, so if we want to slow down, speed brake, you'll see it's there. So I have something on my joystick assigned. You'll see the speed brake's out full now. You can manipulate it with just using the mouse, so you can move it forward and back. So you might not want to put the full amount in. I've got it on full because I just want to slow the airplane down a little bit as we gather momentum in our descent. So, where I'm at now, you might be given constraints by air traffic control, so we're just going to imagine that. They might give us a speed, they might not. I usually just engage by pulling that down 200 knots. You see it's engaged here, and the aircraft is trying to maintain it, which it is. You can bring the speed brake back up now, which you'll see it's now come off there. So we're just hovering at 7,000 feet as we get to Tala, and then we would go into Tartan, but we don't need to. What we can do, we could just take a shortcut and swing left here, but we'll follow in. See what the mod does, see where it takes us. Sure, be exciting whatever happens. Right in the clouds though. If you've ever been to Scotland, this is not unusual. You may also say, if you see the banner at the top of the stream, you've got the altitude there, so that's the difference. It's showing us at 6,300 feet, but actually we're on standard QNH at the moment, which is 1013, so it puts us higher. That's why it shows 7,000 here. You'll see that when we start to descend further. And I'm still cruising in. Approach is still online, but we're just gonna do this ourselves, aren't we? He said he wasn't around, and stick to 1 to 2 decimal 8. So we will do that. We can also, if you want to start tracking the iOS, which we'll need because it's a cloudy day and we're going to follow the little clouds down, click the iOS button and it just brings up these dots here. The iOS gets tuned automatically when you put in your arrival airport, which we did in the flight plan phase, so you can see that we're going to EGPH arrival. We've got the iOS 06 already tuned as part of this, so it should pick it up automatically. It's just, once we get over Tala, we'll start our descent further and we'll put in some flaps. Going to use a medium auto brake. Again, there's no real rhyme or reason. I'm sure if you watched channels of actual Airbus pilots, they will absolutely tell you what's right and what's wrong in terms of using that. But again, this is to get you guys up and started. You could analyze it pretty heavily, and it probably wouldn't do you loads good in the simulator. I also know coming in through runway 06 is a turn off sort of 3/4 of the way down the runway, otherwise you have to roll to the end. And it sort of just helps air traffic control if you can plan ahead. So we'll keep our descent coming down to 3,000 feet now. So pull that out. Again, let's go down at about 1,800 feet and pull that down. You can see vertical speed is engaged here. At this point, let's convert back to barometric pressure. So it's 983. The ATIS at Edinburgh is saying 993. So we would just, oh, that's because I use my mouse wheel. And if we just, and we're bumping around. There we go, 993. You can also see that iOS has come alive, which is great. And we should start swinging around to the left. Once we get past Tala, you can see the green line falls here and then into runway. So let's see where this is going to take us. It seems to be going directly to runway 06. I think I'm going to intervene here and put us on our heading to intercept the. We'll do a bit of a downwind and then we'll go into the runway. Slow us down to 180 knots. And we'll put the first stage of flaps in just to slow us down. You can also arm the speed brake now because that'll kick in with the auto land. Very easy to press the wrong thing here. So that speed should be 180. So you see we're heading towards this blue dot, so we're sort of taking ourselves swinging around. We can probably move it a bit around to the right hand side. What I'm also going to do is bring up Edinburgh. Oh, actually Tower have gone offline as well, so we're just going to have to announce this ourselves as we go in, guys. You can see we're going over some land because that's we went over some high ground, so the actual height is 2,500, 2,200. So we'll go down as far as 3,000. We'll keep 1,000 feet above the ground, but something to be aware of that when you're doing this manually, although we're at 3,000 feet, what this is telling us is there's actually land below us that puts us only 1,800 feet above. So you need to be really aware of that as you approach where you've got high land around you. So sorry, high land. Yeah, I guess it's high land. So if you think you're at 3,000 feet, actually above land we're only 2,200. So if we were in the clouds, like we are now, beautiful. It's important to know that. And again, air traffic control will guide you, but as you can see, they've all logged off, so it's us. Again, we're just puddling along. I think we can probably swing the aircraft a bit tighter, and what I'm trying to follow then is this green line that's taking us in towards the runway. So if we do that sort of thing, that's pretty much bang on where we want to be. Bit of a shame the air traffic control have logged off, but again, it's a bit less pressure, guys. You do have to watch for people on the ground. Oh, we can see some ground there. Let's see where we are. But you do need to communicate with the guys on the ground because there could be people sort of taking off, landing without any air traffic control. Same in general aviation. If you've got uncontrolled fields, you would announce your position. So you can see at 3,000 feet, we're only what 1,900 feet, which is why you can see the land below us. It's pretty murky though, so we're not going to see the runway for, well, until we're very close to it. Which is sort of what happened in my last stream, and it didn't go that well, but I have great faith. You can see the wind whipping up here, so it's blowing us along, 180 knots. let's just slow ourselves right down to 170. Just going to try some of the flaps. Yeah, so we can have that second stage of flaps in. What we're looking for is, guys, is just to sort of then start a right turn to line ourselves up so we get a approach angle with the runway, which is sort of, we're on runway 060, so we probably want like a 40-degree intercept, let's say 35 degrees, so that'd be heading 25. And what we'll then be doing, just waiting for this localizer to come alive. So if I zoom in down here, sorry, a bit jerky, guys, but you can see this pink dot off to the left hand side. That will turn solid and start moving into the right. We want it to be on this center line here. The same will happen when we get the pink dot coming in for the height, and that then controls our descent into the runway. That closing angle might be a little bit tight, so let's just go over here. Again, you can see, look, I'm doing lots of little adjustments. So I'm sort of relying on our screen here to show us where we are in relation to the runway. So the runway approach is this line here, and so we're sort of trying to hit it at a decent angle. I've also got Navigraph open on a separate screen. We've still got 20 miles to go though, so we're probably quite far out. To be fair, we can tighten that up. I'd say there's no science here, guys, whatsoever. This is becoming very, very clear for me. Wiggling our way in towards the runway, but it gets us there. And this is how people practice. This isn't about being perfect at all. And don't feel you have to be. So we should be coming closer in now. Gonna be quite a long approach going in, but look, it'll hopefully be stabilized. If not, we will struggle a little bit. So we're just tracking in at the moment. Say, guys, if you're enjoying this, hit the subscribe button, give it a like. What's the worst that can happen? You might see another video that you enjoy. It's getting a bit dark in the cockpit now, so what we can do is just, there we go, turn the light on here. You can actually see some things. I'm conscious when it comes to streaming, it probably looks quite dark. Normally, if I'm flying on my own, I'll just have it sat in the dark because it gives you quite good view outside. But as you can see, pretty dark out there, pretty cloudy in Scotland. Yeah. So, again, we're just pootling along in. We'll wait for this diamond to become alive, and then what we do, we hit the lock button, and that arms it in terms of capturing the iOS. You can see that it's also picked up the iOS side in terms of vertical height. So what this is, oh, the diamond's coming in, we'll hit the lock button, and you'll see we start to turn. And what that's doing is it's moving turning the aircraft to the right so that it's intercepting that iOS. What it's going to try and do is keep that in the middle. So you see it's sort of slowing down the pink dot as it hits the middle, and then the airplane will center to keep it in the middle. Get a little view outside. And again, when this pink dot then starts to come down and gets near the yellow line, we hit the approach button, which is turn approach mode on. Let's go, we're on the iOS. Still a wee bit out though, we got 15 miles to run. Sometimes you'll get given speed constraints. as you get closer, so it'll be, I don't know, let's say 180 to 40 ME, and that's to help traffic flow. Nothing like that tonight, we're all doing this ourselves. And again, just typing into VPilot my position, so I'm basically putting things like Edinburgh traffic, establish localizer runway 06, and if someone's on the ground, they know I'm coming in, they might reply and say, look, do I have time to get out, do I not? Ultimately, it's the pilot's decision. You don't make the decision for them, so you can give your position, but you can't tell them, or you can take off, or you can land. They should be doing that themselves. So, nicely established now on that centre line. A little bit worried about this wind here. So, again, I could have another absolute stinker of a landing, but hopefully not. So 090 at 50, that's not. So if I bring up what the actual weather is, or when it was last broadcast, it was 17 knots, and it wasn't 3 times it, but it'll be fine. Okay, so that pink diamond was a triangle at the top. It's slowly coming in, so we'll hit the approach button. Blue is armed, so you'll see that that glide slope will start to will turn green once it's captured it. Let's wait for it slowly to come in. What the F here is doing, what the F sounds like my flying, what the F, when I put it back into manage speed mode, which is by pressing this up the way, when you engage flaps it automatically calculates speed based on the approach speeds here. So you can see the full flap is at 148, and that marries up to here, the 148. Okay, so we're engaged, we've got 9 miles to run. Shut the gear down. Still pretty icy. Pretty sure it's not that cold in Scotland. Landing lights can all come on. You can turn off the... we'll keep the taxi light on actually. Now, it's not always a benefit to have the lights on, as you can see in the cloud, because it basically reflects off the cloud back at you, so you can't really see what's happening. Okay, I'm just going to try manage speed mode, and that should slow us down. We'll go flaps full, so that's taking us to about 140 knots. Now, I did this before and disconnected the autopilot, and I tended to sort of sink out the sky, which is a little bit concerning, but we'll go with it. Something flashing away in the distance there, that could be the runway lights, it could be another airplane. Let's hope it's the runway. Still got a really strong wind, but you can see it's starting to come down, sort of from the runway actually, it's not really, it's blowing in from our right hand side, so we're crabbing into the wind, and you can see that actually on the on the aircraft here. We're slightly, our nose is pointing basically this way because the wind's pointing this way, and it will blow us towards the runway. That is the theory. Let's see what happens when we actually get close to the ground. Let's just check the cabin. Everyone should be sat down. It's this button up here. Give it a little ding. It should disappear if everyone's ready to go, but sometimes it doesn't. Maybe there's a disruptive passenger on board not wanting to take their seat. Anyway, so we're 5 miles out. Slowly coming in. If we look, we can see the runway, but you can see we're slightly cocked off to the right hand side. Say slightly, quite a lot. It's 1,000 feet. Okay, Let's brace, guys, and see what happens when we turn the autopilot off and try and land this. We'll do it about 500 feet. There's someone else coming into Edinburgh. Just making our way down to the runway. Definitely some disrupted passengers on board. Cabin crew are not happy about it. Try and ding it again, doesn't do anything. There we go. Oh, crumbs, this is going to be quite a difficult landing. You can see we're slightly above the glide slope now. See, autopilot turned off. Slowly guiding it down. Some good light effects there in the simulator. Getting a bit off to the right hand side. Not too bad. We're a little bit low actually, but we'll be fine.
100 above. 100. 50. 40. Minimum. 20. Retard.
And that's us down. Kicking some reversers. Avoid people with some whiplash in the back, but it wasn't too bad for being.
Edinburgh traffic, Seabird Alpha.
It's a man, a Scottish man, trying to talk to us.
Seabird Alpha 7, Bravo
Okay, so
Charlie,
we're on.
established for build ILS for runway 06.
I'm just going to tell this guy where we are. Rolls down the runway here, and we're looking for that right hand turn off. There is someone coming in on approach, we'll need to let him know just that we are almost off the runway. Yes, round of applause in chat, thank you. Oh, look at that, typical Scottish weather. So we'll take the right hand turn here. Before we hit that light, yep, good old flight simulator. And we'll make a call on unicom just to make sure people know we are clear. And Edinburgh traffic, Speedbird 185 is clear, runway 06. So, we just taxi into the gate now. Some good effects at night on the ground. Can have a little look outside. What we'll do is just get rid of some of the lights because they're pretty dazzling. And we'll just take a left down this cul-de-sac and then we'll get on stand and then yeah, just have a little look and see which stand's free, and we'll shut down and end the stream. Wasn't too bad apart from the couple of things. One, didn't really brief the departure properly, but we picked that up as we went through. Hopefully you guys saw that, but setting up the aircraft, we took a slight right turn before we should have done. Managed to mute myself halfway through, which was, you know, standard. I think I pressed the wrong keyboard button. But hopefully it hasn't disrupted it too much. It's been a pretty short flight, which has been good, and hopefully anyone who wants to take part can do. It's not scary doing this if you get a bit of practicing and come to these quieter airports. There's no one really around. There's a couple of aircraft. There's someone on approach at the moment, but you find a way. If you make a mistake, just ask questions. It is pretty miserable though at the moment in Scotland. As we come to stand, let's take the APU one. Just basically is a little engine at the back of the airplane, and when you turn the engines off, it keeps power, so that people know, well, you don't plunge the aircraft into darkness, basically is how it works. It's a man in his truck. Don't come anywhere near me, please. Beautiful. Health and safety all the way, guys. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just swing left. Guide yourselves in on this yellow line. It's a man. Hold on. Let's have a little zoom in and see what they're up to. Beautiful. Oh, chap. So that means we have to go right if he's doing that, and that means go straight. Oh gosh. Worry for your safety. Oh yeah, you might want to stop me before I get close. When they cross their arms over the top, that's normally means stop. So we'll just keep going. Oh, done. So we can probably, let's just have a little look outside and see if we can see that person up close. Standing in the rain in Edinburgh and getting absolutely blinded by my lights. They're not going to appreciate that, are they? I've got a better camera angle. There we go. What a miserable person. Yep. Oh, hello. Let's see what they're seeing. Yeah, it's pretty bright, isn't it? Okay. Well, hey guys, what we'll do is we will get the ground crews just to get things kicked off. People want to get off the airplane, so what we do, we're in the cockpit. It's pretty quick. If you've ever been on an airplane, normally this is when you'll unbuckle your seatbelts, run away. We just flick the engines off, and then Flight Simulator will do something annoying, which is this, and we'll just hit continue. Get the jetway coming over. Good. And that is that, guys. So like, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope the long silences were not painful. Boy, to be fair, a blessing as I nattered along. But like, hopefully it's been useful. If people want to get started doing this, let me know if you've got any questions. It's good fun. Obviously you can make mistakes like I did at the beginning, and you're fine. Like no one will pick you up on them. Air traffic control are very helpful. And so yeah, have a go at it. Appreciate you guys watching this, and we'll put something up soon. But otherwise, have a beautiful evening, guys, and thanks for watching.